Well, up and at 'em, everybody. Hank, Big Ben with you, and time for us to check in now with Nancy Cahalen from the Better Business Bureau. And, scammers, you know it, right? You get a call and a name from your list of contacts will pop up. And you go, oh, it's kind of odd the way that it looks, but okay, that's somebody that I know. And then bang, they've got you. They've kind of, Nancy, and thanks for being with us as always. But sometimes, who you think is texting you is not who it is.
Yes, absolutely. The texting is very active right now with the scammers. I get scammy texts practically every day. And they've long used social media to impersonate people you know and trust, but now they're using text messaging with a spoofed caller ID. So we talked about spoofed caller IDs with robocalls. It would say it's coming from the IRS or the police or yourself, and they're doing that with text messages too. The scam could be hard to spot at first. You just need to watch out for the warning signs. So we had some reports to our scam tracker, and what they told us was that they got a text message that showed up in their phone from Mom. Okay? And there are other variations. Dad, don't feel left out. There are other variations that say it's from Dad. But this one said, according to the message, Mom was at a store, but she left her credit card at home by accident. And could you please send her $150 so she could finish her shopping? So the request, it seems harmless, but don't do it. It's not Mom. Scammers have spoofed caller ID to appear to be Mom or Dad, and they're relying on the fact that many people have them in their contact list listed that way. So you don't put in their full name if it's Mom or Dad. So they hope you won't think twice or double check the phone number before sending help. And they're asking to transfer money to like a digital wallet or some way that's not reversible, and your money will be gone for good.
All right. How do we know? How do we know it's not really Mom then?
Well, if there's anything about the message that's unusual, consider it a red flag. So has Mom ever done this before? Do they regularly send you text messages? If they don't regularly send you a text message, it's probably not them texting right now. And on the other hand, if they do text all the time, but they've never asked you for money, you're probably also dealing with an impersonator. So just if anything seems unusual, consider it probably not on the up and up, and take the next step to check it out. So you could look and see if it's part of a message thread. If Mom texts you all the time, there's going to be a thread of other communication prior to that on your phone. If it's brand new, if you don't see any earlier messages, it's probably a scammer contacting you for the first time. You should also double check the sender info to make sure that the name and phone number really match your parents' real phone number. So you also could call your parents. There's a novel idea.
Exactly.
Call them.
Yeah. I mean, let's just got to do a little double check, because these kinds of messages really are out of the ordinary.
They are, but it's just a new scheme that the scammers have come up with. Don't be fooled if the scammer has personal information about you, because data breaches and social media posts have given them information, including your name and your parents' name.
Yeah.
So they'll have that kind of information. And if you really suspect it's a scam, don't answer it. Don't respond to them. Don't anger them. Just block the number and delete the message, and move on from there.
Boy, that's so interesting that you say that about there can be some of your information, your personal information that is floating around out there, because we got one from what they said was our Chase credit card. And my wife got the call, and she goes, they want to give us a deal where they're going to consolidate something for us. She goes, but it was weird. It said Chase, but it wasn't, the usual. It just didn't look right? Something just didn't look right. She said, but, they had some information that made her think, oh, well, maybe this is legit. So she said, oh, and she called back, the regular Chase number that you have on your credit card and everything. And it clearly was some kind of a scam. But they did have, like I said, she's not somebody who is gullible or anything, but it made her pause because the person said something to her that she said, well, how would they know that if they weren't really from Chase? And this, and this sounded like a good deal and something that you would want to do.
Exactly. That's why all these data breaches, maybe something wasn't lost of yours, some information wasn't put out there that was terribly sensitive, but if it's your parents' names or your address or something, they would have that information. And we've talked about this before. On the dark web, there's a database of stolen information, and those bits of information are all being swapped and sold between the criminals to put together profiles of their scamming victims. So they have a lot of information, and just because they have a little bit of information about you doesn't mean they're on the up and up.
And Nancy, you always say, don't play with these folks. I mean, don't give them anything. Don't even just if they say, do you want, if there's something that says, hey, don't reply to this message, don't give them anything, because they'll use that against you and know that you're a live person that maybe they can interact with.
Absolutely. And you really don't want to anger them. They're criminals. No. They're most likely not even in this country. And they have resources that other scams, you could be a victim of many more scams going forward if you toy with these people. It's not a good idea.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Don't think that. Yeah. That's some very, very good advice. Don't play around with these folks. Better just to ignore it. Don't give them anything that they want. Now, the Better Business Bureau scam alert that we talk about, and this is certainly one of them. Hey, it's not your mom calling a scam, but they've put out some info on this that we can do some further reading.
Yes. So you can check bbb.org. This will be in our next newsletter that goes out, let's see, it'll be mid-October, so the 14th of October. So if you sign up for our newsletter before then, you'll get this as part of the package. Oh,
we definitely want people to sign up for the newsletter and make sure that they get that as well, so that you can make sure that you're safe. Oh, that's a great idea. What best way to do that? Just to contact you?
Just contact me. You can call. My direct line is 508-552-0350.
Very good. Nancy Cahalen, President and CEO, Better Business Bureau, serving Central and Western Mass and Northeastern Connecticut. And, hey, make sure that that text message from Mom really is from Mom. Nancy, thanks as always for joining us.
My pleasure.